In this video, we'll be talking about outdated Amazon seller strategies. Amazon sellers might be using different ideas they find on YouTube, on internet, and they want to implement these strategies to make more sales or to get reviews, and they see it's not working, but maybe it's because these advices they heard were advices from past times, and they are not working anymore today. And in this session, we'll be talking with three guys. So it will be Timo from Dragonflip, Brent from AMZ PATHFINDER, and Yoni from GETIDA. All these three companies are sponsoring upcoming Orange Click event, which we are organizing in Lisbon in February 23rd, 24th, 2023. And you can check the link below for this event. It's called Orange Klik Barcamp with Dragonflip. And there in this event, we are expecting about 100 international sellers and Amazon enthusiasts to come in Portugal and network. We can talk a bit about Barcamp format a bit later, but let me introduce the guests. So hello, Timo, Brent, and Yoni. Hi, guys.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. So also below the video, you'll find features like and subscribe. So don't forget to do that. And I would like everyone to introduce yourself. So maybe let's start with Timo, because with Timo, we did the first event, Orange Klik Barcamp, in Lisbon in 2020 in June. And this is where this idea of the events came from Germany. And Timo is from Germany. So Timo, what are you representing?
Yeah. So it's great to be here. Yeah. So obviously I didn't invent the Barcamp, but we did this for the German Amazon community, and it turned out to be a great format. And we've done one together, mostly you. In Portugal, and so it works internationally. And yeah, I'm here because I work for Dragonflip. But I'm an Amazon seller myself. I'm also half 50% factory owner. So we produce wooden toys in Georgia. We sell them online, but also retail. And I started the whole Amazon journey by selling reviews. So this is also going to be one of my outdated strategies. And fun fact, Augusta used to be one of the reviewers when I was selling reviews in Germany.
Don't spoilers.
Yeah, but it was TOS compliant, and not against law or anything, so back then.
But you forget to mention, what does Dragonflip do?
We help you sell your business for the best possible price and the best terms.
Cool. And you are interested in businesses in Europe and in US as well, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So, and Brent, a bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. I don't have as many things to talk about as Timo does. I don't own any factories in Georgia. That's super cool. Also, cool country, Georgia.
So Georgia, my wife's from there, so that's why.
Ah, very cool. Yeah, I visited there a couple of years ago. It was awesome. Anyway, off topic. Yeah, I'm someone who comes from the Google PPC trenches and is like a long-term nerd in that area. I've been doing online paid advertising since 2012 and Amazon since 2015. And have a small agency doing ads and related services for sellers in the ecosystem. And that's pretty much the thrust of what I'm going to be talking about, is some of these outdated ad strategies that we've seen talked about since 2018, and some people are unfortunately still using, even though Amazon continues to pour billions of dollars into developing their ad system and things change every week. People are still using stuff from 2018, so don't do that. It's basically the premise.
Cool. And last guy, but not least, Yoni.
Founder and Chief Growth Officer of GETIDA. In short, we help Amazon sellers with FBA auditing and reconciliations. So any of your inventory that gets lost, damaged, destroyed, disappeared, disposed, or overcharged with fees with Amazon, our technology finds those issues. But then we also have a service team that will open cases and manage all the back and forth until there's a recovery. Typically, we're able to go back 18 months on all the data and then flush the sellers with money they never imagined that's available for them. So hopefully when they take it, they can make more profit. So if they want to sell the business, that helps, make an exit, so that you can talk to Timo and Dragonflip much more about it. But of course, money is very helpful if you want to advertise. That goes to AMZ PATHFINDER and Brent. So it's much easier to advertise when you have money you never expected to have. So that's in a nutshell kind of what we do, the focus. I'm based in New Jersey, in the United States. I believe, Brent, you're in France, right?
That's right, but I'll be in Jersey next month. Maybe I'll
There
see
we
you.
go. Welcome home. Yeah. And Timo is in Germany, right?
Yeah, Munich.
Munich. And Augustus, where are you now? Because you always move around.
Portugal. Don't
Portugal.
you see?
So this is a real deal. You know, this is a nice cover of the world. So I'm glad to be here.
All right. So we will soon move to the outdated strategies. And I wanted to mention again that the links to all these companies, Dragonflip, GETIDA, and AMZ Pathfinder, you will find below in the description of this video. And you can meet their representatives in the upcoming Barcamp event, which is happening in Lisbon. Also, you'll find more information about it in the link below in the description. So let's start with the outdated strategies. Let's talk about PPC. It's one of the most people are using a lot PPC, and they might do mistakes. And maybe the one mistake can be that they are using something which is not working. So Brent, please share with us.
Yeah, sure. I'll share my screen and get that going. Let's see, here we go. Okay, let me know if everyone can see this. Is this good?
Yes.
Is there no other window in the way? Is it okay?
No.
Don't worry, Augustus will take care of it.
Just naked woman on the side.
Don't worry about that. Yeah, so I just have a short presentation to help me make my point. I'm not going to read off a million slides to you all, but basically I tried to come up with 3 different advertising outdated strategies after Augustus asked me about this a week or 2 ago. So let's get into it real quick. This is me. I'm Brent. Just did a quick self-introduction, so I'm not going to go over it again, but I live in France. I'm always cycling. We have 22 team members at Pathfinder, and these are some of the strategies that I've seen since 2015. And I'm trying to think about, are they relevant now in 2023? I can still say, hey, it's the new year, guys, because it's the 31st of January. I can't say that tomorrow. I can still say it now. So it's time to maybe reframe your thinking about your account and the strategies you're using here in 2023. And like I said, as Amazon continues to invest billions of dollars in hiring thousands of people, notice when they did those layoffs recently, they didn't lay anyone off from the ads team, by the way. Things are changing so fast. And that's not going to change in the near future. So what are some of these outdated strategies? I tried to come up with some fun names for them to make it stick a little bit easier. So I have the PPC lazy launch, 2, stubborn sponsored products, and 3, conversion rate comprehension. I love alliteration, helps it stick. So let's go through them 1, 2, 3. The first one, PPC lazy launch. Now, this is something that we have seen on Amazon since time immemorial, but basically people will launch a new product. They'll put tons of energy into sourcing it, getting the best kind of prices they can, going through rounds of revision to make sure that the product itself is what they dreamt it would be. They'll do so much research on the front end. Okay, am I going to exploit these kind of keywords and get into this market niche or whatever? And then when that product actually arrives at Amazon, they've paid who knows how much for a container. I know they're cheaper now, but let's imagine it was a year ago and they weren't. And then when the product actually arrives, they just set up an auto campaign and they forget about it for 2 weeks. That is what I call the lazy launch. So what you're doing when you do the lazy launch is you're wasting that precious time that Amazon is giving you in what a lot of sellers call like the honeymoon period. I've heard it called the hunger score too. That's what people from Amazon sometimes call it. But basically Amazon is very hungry to figure out what it is that you are going to show up in the ecosystem. And it's looking for all these other indicators, like how much traffic you're going to get from different sources. Is the traffic going to convert? Are they going to dwell for a long time on your page? All these things are signals, right? And what you're doing by doing the lazy launch is just giving it unfocused, lame ad spend. Basically, you're doing the 2018 thing of saying, here, Amazon, you go figure out what my product's for. I don't really have the energy to tell you. And it's going to run an auto campaign. It's going to come up with some good keywords. It's going to target some ASINs. It's going to target some random stuff. And you're going to have to refine that if you are paying attention to it. And don't get me wrong, like an auto campaign is a nice component of a launch, but it's not the be all end all. And it's certainly not the only thing you should do. So now that we know what not to do, what should we actually do? This is what I recommend instead. You should run a series of really well-researched, aggressive, exact match campaigns and other, like I would say, tighter targeting methods, such as like ASIN targeting. And you want to take full advantage of the honeymoon period. You want to basically tell Amazon in that first 35 to 45 days, there's no documented length, but let's just say it's like roughly a bit over a month, what exactly your product is. And you have to have the right mindset going into this. You know, investing in advertising for the first several months of launching a new product is not a scenario where you're trying to get a good ACoS, right? What you're trying to do is move units consistently day over day and demonstrate to Amazon that your product is valuable and desired and has potential. And that's trying to set it on a good trajectory for the remainder of its lifespan. Having a optimized, well-run, and well-converting product listing is basically an asset, as Timo will tell you, because I think he deals a lot with businesses that are being sold, right? That is an asset. So you're investing in a long-term asset. And that's the right mindset to bring into it. To get like really specific, I mean, we recommend exact match campaigns with your top keywords, with aggressive bids and aggressive budgets, consistently spending. ASINs to target not only your competitor products, but maybe complementary products. And then if you want to get really crazy, you can use sponsored display, which as an ad type doesn't have as much attention as the other two, but you can get a lot of traffic for a pretty good CPM, that is a cost per million, by using sponsored display. And get your product in front of thousands of potential shoppers. Now, those campaigns aren't necessarily like, yeah, all these people bought, but they did see your brand. They did see the product. So if it's new, it's more exposure. And exposure and traction and eventual conversion is like kind of the goal here. So that's it. You're trying to get the flywheel spinning. Amazon always talks about the flywheel. One principle behind a flywheel is that it's quite heavy. You have to put a lot of effort into exerting and pushing it to get it to start to spin. And that's kind of the key principle behind this launch. So don't do the lazy launch, do the aggressive launch, let's call it. I didn't come up with a good product name for that. All good?
Yes, better than good. Yeah, we're just...
Okay, yeah. Fantastic. The next one, stubborn sponsored products. So this is another common misconception. And I was talking to someone just the other day. He was a brand that does like 3.5–4 million USD a year. So, you know, pretty substantial 7-figure brand. And they're a really experienced seller. And they were saying, I've never even really thought about sponsored display. I've never really touched it. You know, we run a couple sponsored brand campaigns. And then I said, well, what's like the percentage of spend if you had to break it down between sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display? And they'd say, oh, it's probably like, I would guess 93% sponsored products. And this is what I call stubborn sponsored products, which is to say, the only ad type that Amazon had for the first several years of its existence of its ad platform is the one that so many people associate with ads. They just think sponsored products equals Amazon ads. There's nothing else. That's wrong, unless you don't have brand registry, in which case you can't run anything else. But basically devoting more than, I would say, 80–85% of your budget just to sponsored products is wrong. For a lot of our clients, they're diversified to the point where sponsored products is maybe like 70–75% of their spend. And then that last 25 to 30% is a mixture of sponsored brands and sponsored display. So it's really on you to explore and test the multitude of new campaign types that exist. And don't just think sponsored products is ads, and ads means keywords only. Like we talked in the last thing about ASIN targeting and like CPM, looking at display ads. These things are all very valid methods that a lot of our clients and thousands of other advertisers out there use to get a leg up in the marketplace, get exposure for advertising in new slots that sponsored products doesn't have. Quite honestly, most of the innovation going on right now on Amazon ads is sponsored display first, and secondarily sponsored brands. So sponsored products, that old school one, the original, that has the least amount of new stuff coming out. And that is held true, I would say, for the last year. I mean, there might be some actual data to back that up, like number of releases or something like that. But running an agency, seeing accounts, talking to my team, that's certainly the impression that I get. So important to remember that. Yeah, so what to do instead? Basically, devote your budget to other campaign types, target more than keywords, ASINs, categories, custom and built-in. And the last thing I'll say is like, where the pond isn't already overfished, imagine a bunch of people sitting around a pond fishing. You know, you can go and take your fishing rod and put it in another pond, and that other pond is sponsored brands or sponsored display, because there's a lot less people competing for those same fish in that same pond. I'm not calling your customers fish. It's okay. Now, the last thing, conversion rate comprehension. This is probably the biggest problem that I think we face day in, day out as an agency. So what we often see, we have campaigns that are set up well. We have the right keywords targeted. We have good structure. We have good naming. We have the bids dialed in. But the product itself has a conversion problem. So trying to optimize the ads in that equation, instead of trying to optimize the listing itself, which has the conversion problem where the people are actually landing, is like a backwards way to try to fix it. We're not fixing the cause. We're fixing like the effect, essentially. That is a big one. And not benchmarking against your competition, like trying to figure out with third-party tools how they're doing. You should try to get some kind of understanding of what your competitors are up to when it comes to conversion rate. So what to do instead? You have to understand there's some really simple math between conversion rate and how that relates exactly to ACoS, right? So this is basically how efficient your ad spend is. The higher your conversion rate is on a product listing, the more people who you send there from your paid traffic are going to convert, and your ACoS is going to look better. So ACoS is a function of multiple things. That's an important consideration, one of the big KPIs. But one of those things is conversion rate. Even if you make changes to your product listing and your conversion rate is increased by 0.5 percentage point, that's actually going to have massive downstream effects on your advertising. So just keep that in mind. What I would encourage people to focus on regular, what's called CRO, conversion rate optimization, for both your listings and your storefront. Review these things every 3-6 months, whenever you can fit it in your schedule, especially if you're top sellers. And you have to use tools, both those from Amazon and those that are external, to come up with some guesses and try to figure out, what is my competitor's sell-through rate? How many units do they move? Well, if they get this much traffic, they move this many units. What's their conversion rate? There's also some tools inside of Amazon now that even help you do this, and third-party tools. I'm not going to go into that here. That's way too in-depth. But this is how you can start to figure out, if my conversion rate is here and theirs is probably here, what can I do to get up to here to match them? And then my ads will be just as efficient as theirs are. And I hear some people in the audience saying like, oh, there's no conversion rate in the ad console. There actually is. If you go in the ad console and you go to targeting, you can enable conversion rate from the top. And the way it's defined is, orders divided by clicks. It's not units. So it's orders, which is an important distinction because there can obviously be more than one unit in an order. So that's how Amazon defines it. That's how they put it in the targeting area. So it does exist. You can't see it. And that's it for me. So I wanted to keep it short. If you guys have any Q&A, I guess put it in the StreamYard thing. And if you scan that QR, that'll take you right to the slide deck I just have here. But it's quite a simple slide deck, so not too terribly much to see.
Perfect. We'll go soon to another guest, but we have a question from Kevin. He says, I was selling 40 units a day, then was out of stock for 2 months. Now my sales have become less than half. What steps I need to take to check what's going on wrong? I don't know if you can comment from PPC perspective from advertising.
Yeah, Kevin, do you mean selling 40 units a day through ads or in general? Because I would say, like, one thing we've noticed is that if the stock is dwindling, Amazon will sometimes give you a little bit less love in the ad algorithm because they are taking into account, hey, this product is probably going to go out of stock soon. So, why are you spending so much against it? And shouldn't you actually, maybe increase the price or draw back on ad spend and let it kind of go out of stock naturally, try to buy yourself more time. There's a lot of, let's call it mystical beliefs around going out of stock. Some people say, oh, you should delete the listing. You should pause it. You should run ads at max until you hit the wall and it just goes out of stock. I'm not sure what the right answer there is, but I will say having your inventory go out is a really negative signal, both for advertising and for overall sales. And it might be quite difficult to recover from that. Not to be the bearer of bad news, but yeah, that's definitely related to ads in the sense that it will slow down.
Cool. Thank you very much, Brent. I wanted to mention that we have people watching from France, from Sweden, from South California, from Atlanta, Georgia.
That was South Carolina, but never mind.
What did they say?
South Carolina.
What did they say?
Greetings from Greenville, South Carolina. You mentioned California.
California.
Not typical somebody. They'll just
come on,
they're
right next to each other. Come on, they're right next to each other.
Yeah, right.
European knowledge. Okay.
They're both in the South.
Both in the sun. But yeah. All right. So we're here to talk about outdated strategies for Amazon sellers. And if you want to learn new strategies and get hacks directly from 7 or maybe even 8-figure sellers, check out the Barcamp we are organizing as Orange Click, which is happening in a few weeks. It's happening in Portugal. We're doing together with Dragonflip and with supporting companies like AMZ Pathfinder and GETIDA, which are on this webinar. And next, let's talk about, let's bring Yoni. He always has some ideas. Well, whenever you see Yoni's content, it's always with like tips how to save money, how to make money. So let's see what you have to share, what's not working anymore.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So let me just share my slides real quick. Let me see if I can share screen.
And we see your screen. Perfect.
All right, very good, very good. Thank you so much. Okay, so 3 outdated strategies doesn't work anymore on Amazon. These strategies are going to focus on, I guess, the bread and butter that in the world that we live in, which is FBA auditing and reimbursements. And this is a little bit about us. You can read about that later on, and a little bit about us as well. Just want to remind you guys that you should check out the Prime Talk podcast. We do have a special episode that we did with actually 2 of the people here. We did one with Brent. You should check out his episode and check it as a full story. Sending for Augustus Kligis. And I guess I'm sending a warm invitation to you, Timo, to join the show also. We can take this offline. But if you want to kind of see more content about the people behind the industry, including Augustus and Brent right here, I invite you guys. But okay, here's kind of the first. Actually, the first and second are very related. They're interrelated. They're very similar, but there's still a different component. So let me backtrack a little bit before I jump into this. So when you sell on Amazon, when you sell on FBA, you send your products to Amazon's fulfillment centers, and most sellers are aware that, let's say you shipped 1,000 units, and Amazon, instead of receiving 1,000 units, they only receive 190 units. So 10 units are missing, right? That's called FBA inbound, reconciliation. Most sellers are aware of it and they do it. That's great. But I want to keep everybody in mind that when your products are inside Amazon's fulfillment center, inside the center, your units can get lost after it got received. Right inside the center, they might get lost, and Amazon allows you to go back 18 months on all the data and all the transactions, and any inventory unit that got lost, you're able to present Amazon the information, and they will investigate and give you a refund or reimbursement. So keep it in mind. You can do the audit right now. Go back 18 months. It's something that happened a year and a half ago. 17 months ago, this unit that was in the shelf in the bin, all of a sudden it wasn't there anymore. It got lost. Boom, they're gonna reimburse you for that. So if you never heard about this, and this is the first time you hear about it, congratulations. It's fine. If you already heard about this and you do something about it, I'm going to make sure that now you realize that there's updates and things that worked in the past are working in a different way. Okay, so here it is. So we call this filing lost claims via regular help desk. Okay, so why doesn't this work anymore? Okay, filing claims through the Amazon help desk is an old, inefficient process. There are new tools and processes in place to help sellers and Amazon save time. Okay, so right now there's an alternative solution where filing should be done with an internal warehouse tool, internal loss warehouse tool provided by Amazon. In other words, if you were used to just go to Amazon and open a case, this is the example. I took screenshots. This is kind of the old way. So, you want to follow, you found out that one unit got lost, 17 months ago, 16 months ago, 15 months, doesn't matter. This is the FNSKU. You go to help. You go, let me go to fulfillment by Amazon, inventory damage or inventory loss warehouse. Let me put this information and open a case. That's kind of the old, outdated way, and it can take you a long time. And Amazon also, and especially if you're not sure if it really got lost or not, you kind of might be wasting everybody's time. So this is the old way. Now there's an update. There's a new way because Amazon provided a new tool. And if you want to get access to this new tool, this tool is inside Amazon, inside Sell Essential. You can just scan this 2D barcode, or you can just visit GETIDA.com/FBA tools, and it will redirect you to Sell Essential to make sure you get access to this tool. Okay, so in this tool, all you got to do if you suspect that an FNSKU or an ASIN or a unit got lost, in the past 18 months, you just copy paste it into this tool and you click continue. And if it really got lost and you're eligible to get reimbursement, it will allow you to move forward to open a case. But if it's not, it will make sure that, to tell you. And this way you can avoid just wasting everybody's time. So once again, This is the old way. You open a case, you ask them all these questions about it. You're not 100% sure what's going on. But the new way, there's a tool. It saves you the time, because if you're really eligible, it will allow you to move forward. And if you're not eligible, it will kind of stop you right there. So that's kind of the old way for lost units. Okay? And keep in mind, when you put the information in, it's F and SKU. This is what you need. Okay, now let's move on to the second strategy. Very similar to the first one, but it's a different function. In other words, the first issue was a unit got lost in the warehouse, right? You know, you have something, all of a sudden you don't have something. It's called lost. But don't forget, there's another type of issue called damaged. So in the past 18 months, in your Amazon FBA inventory, it could be that one unit got damaged. Oh, you know, it was in the bin. Maybe they took it out of the bin. It fell down. Boom, it cracked, and maybe it broke. If you're selling plates, maybe selling glass cups, whatever it is, you know, units can get damaged, or the packaging got damaged. Whatever it is, you owed a reimbursement. Okay, as per Amazon's, you know, terms of service and rules for FBA reimbursements. So why doesn't this work anymore? The old way is basically, once again, very similar to the first thing that I showed. You just go to help. You know, help me, and then you choose from the menu. Oh, inventory damage or loss. You put your information. Instead, once again, here you can just basically put a transaction ID that you suspect that it happened, copy paste it in, and Amazon will say, yeah, if you're eligible, we'll allow you to continue forward. But if you're not eligible, we'll stop you right there, so you don't waste time and money for you and for Amazon. And once again, if you want to get access to the tool, just scan this code or visit GETIDA.com/FBA tools, and it will allow you to get access to this tool. That's it. This is kind of the old ways versus the new ways of how to, handle the lost or damaged issues with the FBA inventory in the past 18 months. Okay, keep that in mind. So hopefully this is helpful. And I want to repeat, if you never heard of this before, you have much more to learn, but hopefully this kind of taught you a little bit, so you'll able to take action and make some money. And if you're already taking action and you're doing it the old way, and now you're going to do it the new way, hopefully it will save you some time and some money, and congratulations. Now I'm going to touch the third update. This is using adjustments, returns, and receipt reports versus inventory ledger. Sounds very sexy, right? Actually, no, it's kind of boring stuff, but it's very important that you guys know, because it's going to save you time and money when you deal with your issues with Amazon. So why doesn't it work anymore? Because effective January 31, 2023, which is today, live from the press, right? This is from the news. These reports have been sunset by Amazon, meaning became obsolete. They will no longer be available. And these reports will be consolidated into the inventory ledger report. Okay, so the alternative solution is inventory ledger report. Let me show you what this all means. If this is all like Chinese, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Let's take a quick look. So if you have lost and damaged units in your warehouse, how do you find all these transactions? This is the old way, right? Amazon will tell you, you have 18 months to go look back, and to submit a claim, you kind of have to download 3 reports. This is the first report called Inventory Adjustment Report. This is the second report called Manage FBA Inventory Report. And then the third report is called Reimbursement Report. Okay. If you're not familiar with all this, I recommend you to check out the Orange Click YouTube channel. We did a whole 3 to 4 hours on how, FBA introduction to FBA auditing and reimbursement. So this is all very foreign to you. Go back to those videos. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But if you saw that and you know what I'm talking about, all this means is the following. These 2 reports are going to be basically outdated. They're not going to be available anymore. So basically, they're going to be consolidating these 2 reports. So these 2 reports will be, all the data from these 2 reports will be available in 1 report now instead of 2 reports. And this report this is kind of the update from Amazon. It's called Inventory Ledger. It's brand new. Okay. And today is pretty much the day where it takes a new life and the old way is done. Okay. So you visit Amazon Sell Essential. You go to reports, and you go to fulfillment. On the left side, you have all these reports. They actually put it on the top, the very top, and it says new. So this report will have all the info, all the data that these 2 reports used to have. And these reports and this data were very important in order to be able to audit the past 18 months transaction of all the units that got lost or damaged. Okay? Because here's the quick logic, just to refresh everybody's memory. When you wanted to file a claim with Amazon about lost or damaged units, you can download reports for the past 18 months. And the logic is like this. If a unit got lost, okay, this is okay. You want to take action. You want to basically investigate. So Amazon tells you, before you investigate or open a case, see if it got found. If it got found, you stop. Okay? But if a unit got lost, never got found, then you got to check if a unit got reimbursed. And if it got reimbursed, you stop. But if it didn't get reimbursed, So once again, a unit got lost, never got found, never got reimbursed. It means you owed money, so you can open a case. So instead of having 3 reports that you have to manage, right now you're gonna only have to manage 2 reports, because 2 reports pretty much got consolidated. So that's kind of the old way versus the new way. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys. This is if this is all strange to you, you have no idea what's going on, you never even heard about FBA auditing and reimbursement, it's okay. There's solution providers out there that help with this. It happens to be that GETIDA we're one of them. So if you ever need help, we're happy to help you. This is my information. You can just reach out directly. But that's that's it. You know, the ones of you who are dealing with this, or you have a team dealing with this, or VAs or stuff like that, make sure that they're using the new ways and the new reports, because they will save you time and money. And especially when it comes to the ledger reports, that old data and old reports will not be available anymore. Right? So make sure you use the new reports so you can really take the right action. That's it. Hopefully this was helpful.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Yoni. And yeah, we have a few questions actually for Brent. Of course, PPC is a very popular topic, so we'll address those questions a bit later after Timo's 3 outdated strategies. And once again, want to remind that if you want help from GETIDA to get money back from your business, for your business, which Amazon owes you, you will find the link below in the description and a special offer from them. Or if you want to meet GETIDA and also AMZ Pathfinder and Dragonflip representatives in the upcoming physical event, check the Barcamp event we're doing in Lisbon, Orange Klik Barcamp with Dragonflip, and it's happening in February 23rd, 24th. And there we'll have a networking day where you can network with sellers, and also Barcamp day where you can exchange a lot of information. After we hear Timo's outdated strategies, we can talk a little bit about the Barcamp structure. And yeah, I think, let me check. Yeah, we don't have any questions for Yoni. And Timo, I know you don't have presentation, but so I will keep maybe all guests on the screen if they want to comment something.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, I'm a little bit lazy, so I'm just saying the tactics. So number 1 is buying reviews, and I included that because I sold reviews. So, but I admit it's outdated now, and the reason it's outdated is because it's they will get deleted. So you're just going to risk your account. Obviously, but it's not a problem because Amazon has actually changed, you know, since they changed their terms of service. Vine became generally available to sellers. So before it was just vendors, now it's all sellers. And also the buyers don't have to write a review. They can just leave a star rating. So that means you generally get more reviews, and Amazon aggregates the reviews from all marketplaces. So that means in a small marketplace, you don't have to worry about getting reviews because they all get aggregated. So it's easy. You know what you do now, just sell products, and reviews will come naturally at a much higher pace. So it's not really actionable, but I thought it was.
Well, let me understand. When you basically do cross-border and you have a listing, let's say in the US, Canada, Mexico, and Germany, so all the reviews that are getting in each marketplace are consolidated. So when you see it in America, it gets all the reviews from even Germany and Canada and Mexico. That's what's happening?
Not in that order, but like if you're selling Europe, you get the US reviews displayed on the German ones, and all the Europeans are aggregated. There could be exceptions. So like maybe the Mexican doesn't see the German reviews, maybe, but for sure the English ones, you know, they get shown. And for the European ones, they have translation, but I'm not 100% sure. Like, if you know, for every marketplace review gets aggregated. But the US ones, they were the first to start.
You're saying at least the US and the European ones, like the big ones, which is let's say UK and Germany, correct?
Yeah. The US was all, it happened like 2 years ago, but now also like the Spanish will be shown in Germany. They have a machine translation.
I didn't realize that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I can speak that experience shopping on Amazon France because I see a lot of German reviews frequently on products that I buy, and I don't read German very well, but I get the gist. If it's 5 stars and it's long, lots of text, okay. I guess they liked it. Sounds good.
So you're saying before there was for the cross-border sellers, it was a big challenge to basically have reviews in all the marketplaces. So everything you do with reviews, you have to kind of do double efforts all the time. That's pretty rough.
This really changed everything
Yeah.
for European sellers and companies moving into Europe from the US.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. The second.
Second one is not sharing one's product. So, like when you go to conferences, you meet people, and then you ask them, so what do you sell? And they tell you like, oh, I'm doing the pet niche or something like that. That's just ridiculous. I mean, that's not even a real business. I mean, that's like a little arbitrage opportunity that you're exploiting, but they are generally short-lived. It's just a matter of time till somebody else will exploit that. Or if nobody exploits it, then it just means it's so small that nobody even bothers. So I would recommend, to be open. And that's the old tactic, like back, 5 years ago, when I started, like with the whole community, like the first conference in Germany and so on, right? That's how people were like, they didn't want to tell other people what products they're selling because they didn't think about it as a real business. They thought they're just like little hackers who were in the basement, and have found out this little trick. Now, obviously they don't want to say it. Okay, so the alternative is building a brand. That's easier said than done. But look right here, you actually see two brands. I printed that.
What is that? The trademark? What is that? The trademark?
That's a trademark. That's a German trademark. Two German trademarks. The other ones I lost some, but they sent.
I thought you were a doctor the whole time. I thought it was doctor diploma. I didn't realize it was a trademark.
No. It's a trademark. You can register a trademark for €209, and then you can put this thing there. It's almost as good as doctor.
But we still don't see the brand. So if you are telling this, so tell your brand.
What's the name of the brands? Yeah, share it.
Yeah, okay, I'll get it. So this
there we go, real deal.
Okay, let me expand. Ukraine.
So the brand name is
Urkunde.
Yeah, this is Woodsy, the brand, and you can type Woodsy and
your
Amazon.
camera is
DSY Woodsy. Like
yeah,
a wood.
Woodsy, yeah, Woodsy.ge. GE as in Georgia. This is like the website. Anyway, so you should be proud, about your brand and talk with anybody who wants to listen to it about it. That's the thing, that's how things have changed.
So yeah, just to help you with the edge of it, when you sell on Amazon, you're successful. It's not a secret. Amazon,
exactly,
everybody thought it was like a big secret. Nobody knows about Amazon. You're making a lot of money. Everybody heard of Amazon. It's a huge company. It's one of the largest in the world. And if you're successful, many people know about it. So you just have to stay focused, stay competitive, and really focus on the relationship that you build with your consumers and clients, so they want to buy again, or at least they recommend it, things of that nature. That's how you win long term.
Perfect. And the last outdated strategy, according to Timo.
Yeah. So last one is treating your Amazon e-commerce business like a lifestyle business. There's nothing wrong with a lifestyle business, but I don't think it works anymore in e-commerce. You can do it on Etsy maybe, but if it's you can start as a side hustle, no problem, right? So you can still be employed and start your business, but eventually you will have to take that whole thing seriously. So back in the days, people were side hustling all the time. They had like some Amazon thing, and then they had some Google AdWords website that monetize that and so on. But with e-commerce, it's so complicated now. I mean, the compliance is really hard now. Like product compliance, tax compliance, and if you just treat it as a hobby, it's not going to last, right? So, and eventually you even have to build a team. So, I mean, you can start by yourself, no problem, right? Maybe you can grow it up to, 5 million revenue. You're maybe in the US even 10 million, because it's a larger marketplace, less complication, right? But eventually it stops to work, because, or you keep it at that level, and there's nothing really wrong with that. But you will need like that's what a company is. A company is like a collection of people. They are specialized, and they one person is good at this, the other one is at this, and this collection is better than like the individual freelancer. That's otherwise you wouldn't need a company, right? So you need to go big, you need to become professional. That's like today, back in the days you could do this all by yourself. Now these days are over. And also, while you're at it, building a team, speaking with other people, sharing your products, you also have to attend events such as Augusta's Seller Barcamp, because when you talk with like-minded people that are ahead of you, or people that are doing similar things, you will benefit from that, and you will strike some deals at those conferences, and opportunity will somehow will come up. Random things will come up just by being there and networking and talking with other people. So that's why not going to the Seller Barcamp is an outdated strategy.
That's number 4 bonus.
Yeah, cool. Actually, talking about Barcamp. So Barcamp is a bit different format than many people are used to. Usually people see a stage with multiple speakers. Barcamp is actually, we as organizers, we don't have an idea what kind of topics will be discussed or presented during the event. And the idea is that people will, or attendees will come in the welcome session. In the first hour, everybody will have a chance to pitch the idea, whatever they want to present or talk about. And we will distribute all the topics people are pitching in the first hour into 3, 4, 5 breakout rooms. As much as we need, we will create breakout rooms. And it might be, for example, Yoni telling how you can save money. So maybe there will be like 20 people listening to his well-made presentation. He will get a bigger room, but there might be also Amazon seller which is interested to solve some problem of maybe getting reviews in Arab Emirates Amazon or something like that. So maybe that person will get like 3 other Amazon sellers willing to talk about this in kind of 45-minute mastermind, focused only on that topic. And Timo has done or organized, initiated. Timo, how many events in Germany? Like 9 already, or 10, right? Barcamp events.
Yeah, I think 10. Yeah.
So, and you are getting like 200, 300 people, mostly Germans. We're trying to bring this format to international community, and this time we're doing inside in Lisbon, in the capital of Portugal. I will share a screen with the website. Okay.
Timo, are you involved with the Barcamp into like the thing itself, or are you just what is Barcamp? I know it's like a special organization on its own, right?
No. There's something. I didn't invent Barcamps. People have done this like, I don't know, 20 years ago, right? So like you can do a Barcamp if you want to.
But you have to contact them in order to do it, or
no, it's not trademark.
It's the name of the format, right?
It's in the format, like saying, let's do bingo. Let's play bingo.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. You run your own bingo night.
I've heard it called an unconference too, which is a cool idea.
Unconference, yeah.
I think Barcamp was born, as far as I think I was reading, that in Silicon Valley, when these IT guys wanted to discuss about specific things, they met in the bar, and maybe it grew from that they wanted to discuss different things at the same time. So yeah, it just started to be called Barcamp, and it was more about technology. But I don't see this format being very popular in other niches. I never hear events called Barcamp. Maybe different countries call different name for them. And here is the website of current Orange Klik Barcamp with Dragonflip event, which is happening very soon. Let me check if I can make the screen a bit like this. No. And as you see, you can get access to 2 days. The first day we're doing networking day. We will go for axe throwing. This is what's I think popular in the US.
Axe throwing.
Axe. So it's not something we do in Europe. So I think if you don't want to waste your money with your family for that, you can come and enjoy with Amazon sellers and throw axes to the wall.
That's a pretty fun game, by the way.
Yeah.
Really fun.
Yeah, don't throw them at each other. At the wall is definitely preferred.
Yeah, focus on the wall. Yeah.
And then we will have a lunch with Portuguese food, and then some nice boat trip where you will have really isolated space to network and talk to each other. And second day is a Barcamp day, which will have the format we already talked about, where everybody can pitch their sessions, and then everybody can get possibility to moderate or host the session. If you don't want to do that, you will just join one of the 3, 4, 5 sessions happening at the same hour. So yeah, that's the idea. And we do have few questions for Brent. 2 questions. Do you get the honeymoon period when you launch a product on Vendor Central that has been already launched on Seller Central?
Yeah, I saw this come up earlier, and I was thinking about it for a bit, and I believe the answer is no. If it's the same ASIN, it's already been launched. That honeymoon period, that hunger period for Amazon has already kind of come and gone. It doesn't really matter if there's like multiple sellers behind the ASIN. There's already some history established there. I think if you were to delete and like relist the thing entirely, that might be potentially one way to do it. I don't know. Maybe Timo, you have some thoughts on that as someone who knows a lot about the space.
Yeah, I don't know, but Amazon doesn't really care who's selling the product. You know, the product has its own ranking, and seller is not significant usually.
I guess maybe we can develop this question. If you did a launch and it did wishy-washy, or even it didn't do well, would it make sense to delete it and try it again with a better strategy, better, I don't know, you create the listing in a better way, better keyword targeting, all that, you know, all that kind of stuff? Does it make sense at all or no?
I think it does make sense. I think
there's
it does.
Second chances with Amazon. For Nathan, there's a second chance if you botched it and if you did the maximum you can do, there's really nothing better you can do. Maybe it's just a dog. But if you know the data suggests it can be, well, you know, it could be a successful product, but the launch was wishy-washy, it didn't really put the full energy or effort on it, maybe it's worth it to delete it and then retry.
Yeah, just understand that a launch for a product that you think has real potential to be like a hero product in your lineup, instead of like what we would call, I guess, in American English, like a base hit, to make a baseball metaphor, would be a very, you know, costly and involved proposition. That's like you're putting some serious money into it, not only from ads, of course, but okay, we get to line up influencers. Are we going to drive external traffic? Are we going to do, well, I guess giveaways aren't allowed anymore. Don't do those. Don't buy reviews either, for that matter. But there's a lot of other ways to engage like a community. You know, one legitimate way is, do you have an email list or a social community you can, you know, attract to the product? And to do that more than once for the same product, it might be tough, but it is possible. So.
All right, we have another question from Limbish. I'm just launched a product. How can I run PPC? How many keywords? How many in each campaign? Budget and bid?
That's a big question. I mean, my only piece of advice that's related to this is like I said, focus on the exact match. You want to be telling Amazon pretty clearly what you want to rank for. Another piece of that's important is you make sure that your product is in the right node and subnode. You don't want to be miscategorizing it, which is a pretty common tactic these days, I think, to get the bestseller badge. In some cases, people are doing this. Don't do that. That's going to influence your ability to be seen as relevant by Amazon for certain PPC keywords. So you want to make sure you're categorized properly. Make sure you have your flat file filled out and all the information in there. You want to give as much data and metadata to Amazon as you can. Make sure the listing's keyworded properly. You're laying the foundation to then run ads and push heavily against products an exact match for the keywords you think you should be at least ranking for, or at least relevant for, because that relevance is a signal to Amazon, right? You're telling them high conversion rate equals relevance equals this product should probably rank. And if you can get it to stick organically after the launch period, when you start to dial the advertising spend down, then you've done a good job there. So that's like a general overview. I wouldn't say there's any like how much money should you put. A lot is the answer, but it depends also on your research. Like, is this product super competitive, like something like supplements, or is it maybe less competitive, like some kind of industrial scientific product that is like not nearly as competitive from a keywording and PPC standpoint? yeah, don't run against like thousands or hundreds of keywords. Like focus on, several dozen. And for most, launches, like really look at, a handful of like exact match and dial in on those and then expand from there.
All right. The questions are pouring. So Keith wants to know any advice on products that we can no longer advertise on Amazon anymore. How do we rank these products? It's becoming a PPC Q&A.
Yeah, I mean, the only products I can think of that I have personal experience with that you can't advertise on Amazon are like adult products. We've had several clients in that over the years who have come in and out of eligibility for advertising. And it depends on the ad type, actually. And Amazon is a little bit selective about how they enforce it. So depending on what subcategory it's in, like we just talked about, you can sometimes still advertise products that maybe technically shouldn't be advertised. And you'll notice other competitors doing the same. But this is a little bit outside of it. It's like, how do we advertise? If you can't advertise, how do we rank? I mean, I would say drive external traffic. Try something like Amped, which is a tool we like a lot. It uses that Google Ads and it's a platform to connect that along with Amazon's attribution. That's pretty powerful. That works pretty well. Amazon gives a brand referral bonus now too. So all kinds of cool opportunities there.
10%, all right? 10% back.
Yeah, an average of 10%. Yeah, depending on the product and the category. Yeah, and there is a report that maybe you guys know about, but it's like deep in the bowels of Amazon Seller Central. That's like, this is the money you're actually going to get. Amazon will give you a credit percentage and then slowly like give you that credit. But yeah, it does exist. It is 10%, roughly speaking.
And Timo, do you have any advice how to rank product without PPC? You did reviews some years ago.
Yeah, so for instance, we had a customer who was selling drinking games. And drinking games is also a category that you cannot advertise, just like the adult product, same thing. So that's I think I'd be happy, if you had that, because if you can't do it, nobody can, right? So like you can really like if you figure out other ways that are more complicated, but once you have the organic ranking, then it's yours to keep, and it's harder for other people to compete with you running PPC. So I would look particularly for those categories. That'd be much more interesting for me, I think. So the way to rank a product is easy. You just make sales. Like it converts better than other products. So if you can buy it cheaper than others, you can build it cheaper. You can make better listings. You just have to do something that's unique. Like you have some special skill in your life. Maybe you're good at sourcing, or maybe you're good at marketing, and then you apply that to the product, and that's how you get the ranking eventually.
And let's take one more question from Snooze. Is it against Amazon policy to use 3D renders as main images? I see a bunch of listings doing that, but I saw it on Amazon terms that you can't use mockups on main images. Do you know, like Timo or Yoni?
I mean, if the words say by Amazon that it's not allowed, it's not allowed. The ones that are risking it, they're risking it. It's as simple as that. If you want to risk it, risk it. If you don't want to risk it, you don't risk it, because the ones you're seeing doing it doesn't mean it's allowed. It means they're risking it. So that's as far as I can tell you.
Perfect. All right. So thank you very much. And one more time, let's remind people that you can meet AMZ Pathfinder, GETIDA, and Dragonflip. They all involved or sponsoring the event, which is happening in Lisbon, Portugal. It's Orange Klik Barcamp with Dragonflip, and the Dragonflip started Barcamps in Germany, and with their help, we are bringing this idea to international community. And the links to all the companies you will find below in the description. And I don't know, very short, maybe each of you can say how you can help all Amazon sellers in 6 words. Yoni, 6 words.
Orange Klik, YouTube channel, watch it. 6 words, right?
Yeah. Okay.
It helps a lot. I see how it helps a lot. So keep it simple.
I mean, how do you help Amazon sellers, Brent, in 6 words? I don't know why 6
words. Man, really condensed. I like it. 6 words,
okay,
60 seconds. Is there any other time or speed limits here I need to be aware of?
You use that.
Yeah, okay, let's see. Advertising, content optimization, DSP,
3 words left.
that's 4.
Okay, yeah, 2 more.
That's all. That's all I need for.
Yeah, very
Perfect.
great.
Yeah,
Good.
short and sweet. And Timo, what about Dragonflip?
Okay, so we find the best deal and the best terms.
That was already
Perfect.
7, but okay. You can
But I
borrow
used
from,
and
you can
twice.
borrow from Brent, but it's okay.
Yoni is jealous.
Solid. Solid.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. And bye-bye. See you later and see you in Portugal. Bye.
Thanks.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, MSS. See ya.
Bye. And now I would like to remind you that if you want, now I would like to invite you to watch other video where we had questions and answers about Barcamp. And here I explain a bit more what is Barcamp format, how does it work, and I give few tips how to maximize your attendance at this type of events. One of them, spoiler, bring 1 or 2 more team members to split to different breakout rooms. Bye-bye.